Logging operations provide raw materials for one of Kentucky's most important industries. All types of mills and secondary industries depend on the competitive, reliable, high-quality supply of wood fiber from Kentucky's loggers. Loggers enjoy building their own businesses, freedom of the outdoors, and new challenges. One challenge loggers face is the physically demanding and sometimes dangerous work. Over the years, too many loggers in Kentucky have died while performing their job. Some of these fatal events are due to logs rolling off trucks at sawmills and log yards. In each case, the incident could have been prevented.
Somebody's made a mistake. They've not taken the care they should have. And some of these things we're talking about here now certainly would lessen the risk of somebody being hurt. I've heard of several cases, know of cases, where if the logger had followed these rules, he'd be well and healthy today.
Many of the cases were so severe that even if trained medical personnel were there on the site, the chances of survival would be low.
There are a lot of injuries that can occur in logging accidents. We made quite a few calls in the last few years. The crushing type injuries in the chest, the pneumothorax, hemothorax, the belly, bleeding in the belly, which can be a very life-threatening situation.
In the next few minutes, we will describe loading and unloading methods to prevent yourself or coworker from being struck by a falling log and becoming another victim. At the landing site, the loader has passed a pre-operation inspection. The loader operator, or LO, must be in control of traffic and people in the loading zone. The LO has a plan for building a safe and legal load that A, keeps a low center of gravity on the truck, B, has no large open spaces, and C, will be stable during transport. The safest loads are those where no log is above the standards. For a stable load, the outside logs should be below the top of the standards, and logs in the middle of the load should be well supported by those outside logs. Properly loading a truck is an important step in lowering your chances of a fatal injury from a log rolling off a truck. A red oak log 12 feet long and 12 inches in diameter weighs over 700 pounds. If it falls on you, you will be seriously injured, if not killed. The straps, along with the vertical standards, are designed to protect you by keeping the load in place. While driving, the load will often shift. Logs can move, roll on a knot, and settle between other logs. This movement can decrease or increase the amount of tension on the straps. When you pull into the sawmill, there will be an unloading area for you. Once the truck has been parked, pressure still remains on the straps. If the straps have been retightened along the way to the mill, this builds up more tension and increases the chance that a log will pop off the truck if not secured. The driver and others on the ground can be killed by logs under tension and/or unstable logs at the top of the load. How can this be prevented? Every unloading situation is likely to be slightly different due to the log yard layout and equipment used to unload and stack logs at the mill. Make sure that you understand the unloading procedures before proceeding to the unloading area. Before releasing the binders, an unloading device such as a front-end loader should be positioned against the top of the load. This will prevent logs from rolling off once tension is released from the binders. If possible, have the straps or chains hooked so they can be loosened from the same position as the binders. Pull or throw the binder straps or chains over the load. Pick up and store the binders when it is convenient and safe. If the straps or chains must be unhooked from the side opposite the binders before the truck can be unloaded, the load must be supported from that side before the driver proceeds to the opposite side. Never stand near an unbound, unsupported load. When the loader is ready to unload the truck, all personnel should be at least 2 log lengths away from the load. Make sure the location is one that the LO is aware of and can have eye contact with the driver when needed. Usually, the logs that are put at the top of the load over the standards are small, low-grade logs. They aren't worth very much money, and they certainly aren't worth your life. Please help us reduce injuries and deaths in unloading by building safe loads in the woods and working with log yard operators to develop and enforce unloading rules. In addition to the procedures shown here, innovations like unloading racks and stationary metal racks that protect truck drivers when unbinding loads can improve both safety and efficiency on log yards.